Boy Green Daily starting a minute or two late here. I imagine that's the same thing for the Jets submitting their cornerback depth chart for this game against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll find out more and discuss it on a game day preview right now. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans. Field Yates, baby. Field Gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor Gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever done.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Yeah. Welcome to a game day preview of New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video program talking all things, well, New York Jets, of course. And every Sunday we get down and dirty with James Woody, breaking down all the latest Woody action happening around here. And we bring him in here right now on the show. Good morning, Woody.
Ooh, it's game day. All right.
Yes.
Happy Sunday, fun day. But I'm not sure how much fun it will be for us today. I'm sorry. Just to start off with the doom and gloom. I sincerely apologize. I just want to give a quick shout out. I'm looking at the comments. Dakota in the comments, starting from 6 a.m. He said he could not sleep up at 5 thinking about the Jets, and he's not alone. He's not alone. All right, there's been some sleepless nights going on with some of the news that's come out late. It's come out late in the week.
Yeah, so let me ask you. I know this is normally your thing, but if you don't mind, I'd like to provide a Woody 3 of my own.
Ooh.
Yeah. So here it goes. Let me give it a whirl. Here's my Woody 3. What the hell? That's my Woody 3. What in God's green earth? So, okay, let's go through this real quick. And again, we did like an injury show yesterday with Jets Today, and shout out to him. But new injury news is what you've been indicating and people in the comments are saying. So the Jets lose DJ Reed for this week. Concussion protocol. Salah said he passed the concussion protocol portion of concussion protocol, but he had to return to practice. Apparently they didn't like what they saw. He's out. Okay, put him aside. Sauce Gardner practices on Wednesday. He practices on Thursday, but does not practice Friday. Why? Oh my heavens, would he not practice? Sauce says an illness, but he should be good to go. An illness, okay, that's kind of ominous, but all right, illness. Sounds great. Saturday, I'm hanging out with my family. I get, ba-ding! Ooh, what's on my phone? Sauce Gardner out with a concussion. What? It's like I went to the hospital for a bullet wound in my arm, and they said, "Paul, sorry, we had to amputate both of your legs." Excuse me? What was wrong with my legs, doctor? They're like, "I just had to operate, man." What the hell? That's my opening because the Jets are without DJ Reed. They're without Brandon Eccles, who's their fourth corner. He's out with a hamstring injury. They're out there now, number one corner, and I told you number two corner, if you want to call it that, and DJ Reed. Now Sauce Gardner's out. The starting corners projected for this game, according to multiple experts, and it's really, for lack of other options, Craig James and Bryce Hall. They only have one other corner on the roster named like Tay Haynes or something. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know who that is. But nonetheless, those, and you have obviously Michael Carter II who's playing in the slot, but Woody, reaction as we start off this game day preview. The Jets are going to have to stop A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith with Check's notes, Bryce Hall, and Craig James.
Well, you already said this before. I'm just going to say it, Salah, this, it's not a game. I cannot believe anything that comes out the man's mouth. Like, I don't understand. Like, there is coach speak, right? We understand that.
Sure. Gamesmanship.
But this is not it. That's not an example of it. So, super frustrating as a fan, as really as a human being, just to keep getting fed that. And then the actual game itself, Craig James, if Craig James was in my house right now, I would call the cops. I wouldn't know who that is.
I see. Oh.
But we're gonna try to win this game. Now, if they switch to the zone a little bit, which is what we saw against the Cowboys game, which is not a game that we're trying to remember whatsoever.
Definitely not. No.
That might help out the assignments a little bit because guys don't travel. We don't have to deal with Craig James trying to lock up Devontae Smith, which definitely does not sound like something that can be done. So I think that gives them a little bit more variability on who's on who. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Salah's a defensive-minded coach, and Ulbrich is, that is a unit we've seen perform time and time again. So yes. I'm feeling. Let me not say I'm feeling great. But I'm not feeling bad. I'm truly not feeling bad. I think that they'll cover it up.
Yeah, so I don't want to waste a lot of time in this world because I know I've beaten this like a dead horse with the Salah stuff. But people have tried to rationalize since the Sauce Gardner news came out last night, where a lot of people are saying what we're saying, Woody. What the hell? What is the connection between mysterious illness and concussion? And a lot of people said, well, Paul, if he was throwing up earlier in the week and he's sick, and he had a concussion in the Broncos game and didn't tell anybody about it, then all of a sudden the Jets go, wow, that's really weird that you're sick. Let's give you a concussion test. And then he doesn't pass it. They've been trying to do that. So sure, those connecting of dots make sense. But when Robert Saleh's been doing this basically his entire career as the head coach of the Jets, it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt with stuff like this. Like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse because now we have to deal with what you said is the reality of the situation that Craig James and Bryce Hall will be being thrown out at the cornerback position. And I'm in your same camp. I've seen a lot of narrative out there from some of our great content creators, Jake Asman, Matt O'Leary, and other guys saying, man, I don't know them saying this. I don't know how we stay competitive in this game with those corners trotting out. But to your point, Woody, and we'll get into your Woody 3. We'll be getting to that in a second. But before we get there, I just have to say that if other parts of the team can step up and you're at home, the lovely confines of MetLife Stadium, Zach Wilson, the arrow is pointing up. I just wrote an article earlier this morning. It'll go out officially on the Heavy on Jets about Kirk Cousins making his decision of no trade. So I looked even harder at some of Zach Wilson's numbers. And if he continues with the arrow pointing in the right direction against a questionable Eagles secondary, we're talking about our secondary, their secondary is number 25 in the league, and they don't have Darius Slay. So if you could get some points on the board from that perspective, and then also on the defensive side, get more juice on a pass rush. Easier said than done. The Eagles only gave up 1 sack last week, and they have the best offensive line in football. But you're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to get a little creative. Maybe some blitzes from Jeff Ulbrich. I don't think you could just play safe and try to protect because then Jalen Hurts will probably pick you apart. You brought up that Cowboys game, and that's what Dak did. He just took what was there all day long. I think if the rest of the parts step up, I think there's more than a chance that not only they could stay competitive, they have a chance to win this game. This Eagles team has not been a perfect outfit so far this season, and they've got some key losses too.
Yeah, I mean, I've doubted you before and looked like a fool. So I'm not gonna outright say it, but if the New York Jets win this game, I will be shocked. Someone will have to revive me because I will not be in. I will just not believe it. We will get into, and I love it. Let me step back, Woody 3, and here it is.
Hey now.
We will talk about it. But I do not have the faith in young Zach that you have. I know people are saying that last week was a good game for him, but was it though? Was it under 200?
So it's a good question. It's a good question heading into this game because again, I just re-looked at the numbers for this article. So he had the 1 pick. To me, we could start this off. I thought the 1 pick for me was a 50-50 ball in my perspective, in a weird way, not like the classic 50-50 jump ball you think about. Like to me, Patrick Surtain catching it between his thigh muffs is like a okay. That happened, it's like a shake the hand. All right, you bastard, you found a way to corral that ball. Okay. I thought with the way that Zach threw it, in my opinion, I thought it was either going to be a spectacular catch by Garrett coming to the ball or incomplete. I'm going to be honest, when I checked the bingo card as the play was happening, a pick never crossed my mind with how it was thrown. Again, I don't think the throw is great. That's not what I'm trying to say. But he has the 1 pick, and then the rest of the game is kind of, Now, I think part of that is a play con perspective, which will be a part of the Woody 3, is Nathaniel Hackett. Where the hell were all the play action passes that dominated the Chiefs game? Like, Brees Hall was fine in the Chiefs game, but obviously he just had a career day against the Broncos. Why not use play action in the middle of the career day of the Broncos? You'd think the play action would work even more so because Brees Hall's running all over the gosh darn place. So I think play calling was a little bit of an issue, not a little bit, more than a little bit, but a bit of an issue in that Broncos game. So sure, was Zach Wilson spectacular? Absolutely not. But I mean, he was just kind of fine. He had a pretty high completion percentage, 199, the one pick. I mean, he's high. He's high. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers were to have that stat line, we would be calling the cops.
That's probably true.
You know,
all right, let me pull it up. Let me pull up your Woody 3 here. Here we go. Let's show this up on the big board for everybody. Here we go. And guys, just so you know, you can obviously find this on his Twitter account. Also, the Jet Press. Feel free to do that as well with a full column on a week-to-week basis. Every Sunday, we do the Woody 3. and we bring him up here on the show. So let's walk through these. The 3 things, Woody, that you're looking at in this Jets-Eagles game today, which, again, kickoff 4:25. That's America's Game of the Week, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. This first section, I won't even lie. I couldn't even get all the statistics necessary to make this happen. But yes, this is about Nathaniel Hackett. This is about the play calling. And when Brees Hall averages over 5 yards per carry, Zach Wilson has completed over 70% of his passes. That is an unbelievable stat that has happened in 3 games. All right. If you take that average in 3 games, that is what occurs. But in the other 2 games where Brees was under 5 yards per carry, then Zach has only completed 47.6% of his passes. So if there is one sort of constant, right, regardless of are the Jets home, who are they playing, who's the QB, what is the defense doing, regardless of any of that, Brees Hall goes off, Zach, it opens up for Zach. Now the Eagles are the best run defense in the NFL. That's not on there because there was too many words, but they only allowed 61.2 yards per game. So is Brees going to find a whole, like, what is going to happen if they stuff Brees? Zach averages 160 yards per game. That is the absolute lowest in the NFL. Mind you, there are rookies that are playing their very first games in the NFL, and they don't have Garrett Wilson out there. They don't have Alan Lazard out there, but they all of them average many more yards per game than Zach Wilson. So I do not have faith, regardless of if Brees is averaging 12 yards per carry like he did against the Bills, 9 yards per carry like he just did. Zach has still only reached over 200 once, and that is shameful.
Can I ask you a question, Woody?
Of course.
I think these Woody stats are awesome, but let me throw out the opponents they've played at running back. Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke, who have been terrible this year. We go to the Vikings game. They played Madison, not Dalvin Cook. Terrible. Buccaneers, some combination of Rachaad White. Gross. The Commanders, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. I don't know. The Rams, Kyron Williams. And then now we're here. So, like, again, the stats are cool, and I love the stats. I'm a stats guy. I'm a nerd. I love those. But I'm seeing a lot of those comments against bad running backs. It's also true.
You know, I mean, they are definitely not in the class of Brees whatsoever.
Of course. Yeah,
that's true. That's another good point. But I would say, I mean, Kyron Williams has been having a good season, like a breakout season. You know, Rachaad White, like if you look at their other games, they've had productive games, but none of them have had a productive game against the Eagles. I mean, that's not true for Ramondre and Zeke, you know, over in New England. I'll say that right off the bat. But, you know, Kyron Williams, Brian Robinson, and whoever I just said before, Rachaad White, have all had good games other than the Eagles.
All right. Well, I know this probably hurts to say it, but let's go to number 2 on the whole Woody list here. What do we got?
That was good. That was good. And it will hurt. It might hurt. It might hurt because we've seen the Jets really struggle with QBs running the football. Every single QB we faced, all 5 of them have had their actually that's not true. Everyone but Mac Jones have had their most carries in a game against the Jets.
Wow.
Mac actually had his second most carries of the season against the Jets, but he was still afraid to run. You know, it was a storm, it was windy out. He was still a little nervous.
Obviously.
But Josh, Patrick, and I don't even have to talk about Patrick's running because I know that's just replays in our mind all day. Dak only had 6 carries in the season in every other game, but then he had 6 carries against the Jets for multiple first downs. Russell Wilson thought he was in Seattle real quick trying to scramble on our defense. So now we're going against a quarterback where they literally design plays for him to run. He leads the league in quarterback carries per game, 11. Okay, and as a result, he has the second most yards as a rushing QB, and he's tied for first in touchdowns. This is going to be a huge issue, especially this Woody 3 was made before Sauce was ruled out. So now with that and all the focus and attention going on, how can we stop A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? Now there's even more pressure for them to even have a spy out there for Hurts. Now, I think if they were to switch to zone, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because that's what keeps happening, right? Everyone's in man, their backs are turned, and the quarterback runs and gets that first down. But if zone is the solution to the personnel issue, it might actually also be the solution to Hurts running all over the field.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, the guy that makes the most sense probably is Quincy Williams, who kind of brings the right combination of everything to be the QB spy. Now, in the same sense, you want to make sure the QB spy isn't solely just QB spying, watching him. All right, Jalen, I'm going to watch you. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right here. Like, he has to be accomplishing multiple things or you're taking away the best linebacker in football from doing the best linebacker in football stuff, and now he's turned into a babysitter. So, which is an important task, as you just pointed out with the statistics. But he has to make sure that whether it's a delayed blitz, like he's watching him go, or whatever the case may be, he may be the perfect guy though from his speed and power and everything else. So I like that as well. And let's go to the final Woody point, the 3 of 3 in Woody 3.
Hey.
3rd down and out. Do explain, do tell, Mr. Woody.
This one, it hurts me to say it, and I know we just said that for the last one, but this one is probably even more painful because this one is our own fault, right? We can't control Jalen Hurts' stats, but we can control our own, and the Jets are the absolute worst in the league at converting in 3rd down. All right, this is something that is not new to the New York Jets. For the last 5 years, we have been in the bottom 6 in this category, but now we are dead last. We've never finished dead last, but we are currently dead last 5 games in.
So you're saying we're due?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. But that's what it's looking like. That's what because it's actually by a large margin. There's only one other team that has less than a 32% conversion rate. You know, and that's the Seahawks. But here we are dead. You are literally dead last. And then the Eagles, the only team that convert on 3rd down more often than not, over 50%. There is no one else in football doing that. They're doing that. So what does that mean? It means that they're probably going to spend a lot of time with the ball, and we won't. You know, and why do you think that is? Yes, play calling is definitely a big deal. But I just, I do not have that type of faith that Zach, if Brees can't get the ball rolling, I just don't see Zach getting the ball rolling. I don't see him opening up. And I know you brought up the 25th ranked,
pass defense
for the Eagles. Yeah,
that's
pass
correct.
defense for the Eagles. They do allow a lot of yardage, over 247. But Zach has thrown 247 once. And of course, if you want to talk about the level of competition, the Bills, some great defenses. But the Denver Broncos going into that game were literally ranked, I have it right here, 30th.
How many teams are there?
32.
Ooh. Okay,
Yeah.
just clarifying. Yikes, not good.
So it's horrible. And he couldn't even get 200 yards. That's what I'm saying. Sam Howell had like 338. Justin Fields, it's a tough life.
Yeah, I guess my only pushback on that one would be Brees Hall had 177, and they're running the ball so damn well that they went, well, we're going to keep running. Because Zach Wilson, I can't remember where it was, because obviously he does several forms of media. He does the podium media, he does the team media, and he does other kinds of private media as well. So I know there's a lot of layers to that, but I know he was saying in the Broncos game to the sideline, hey, I want to pass it more, but I also got to understand, like, hey, the running game's working, so I don't want to be a jerk, basically, and just say, hey, like this Broncos pass defense stinks. I'm paraphrasing now. These are not things he said, but like this Broncos pass defense stinks. Like, let's go, baby. Let it rip. I did it last week against the Chiefs. Let's do it again. But I believe he said that he kind of came to himself, said, well, Brees Hall's going crazy. Let's keep riding Brees. But to your point, I mean, the Broncos defense was terrible, and he didn't do it on a consistent basis, which is fair. So that leads us, I guess, to the end of the rainbow here, Mr. Rudy. The Jets are 0-12 all time against the Philadelphia Eagles. And Zach Wilson, by the way, outside of another surprising injury news that I hope we don't get in the next, whatever it is, 7-9 hours. I don't know. I can't do math, but whatever that is, Zach Wilson will become the first Jets quarterback to start multiple games against the Philadelphia Eagles in history. Those 12 that I mentioned, the 0-12, have all been different guys. Zach Wilson has started against the Eagles, obviously, a handful of years ago. That was against Gardner Minshew. I believe the Jets got off to a quick 10-0 lead, if I remember, back in that game. And
Braxton Berrios did some serious work that game.
Yeah, there might have been an Elijah Moore touchdown and the toe drag swag back in the end zone. I'm just going off memory. I don't actually know if these things are true. And then, of course, the Jets lost that game, obviously, because it was Minshew mania. But the point is that Zach Wilson is getting a second whack at the pinata here, and maybe, just maybe, that's all we need. So, Woody, let's go right over to your man, Crystal Ballin, Jets Eagles today, Craig James, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter II. What do we have, baby? Give us a prediction. Yeah. Look deeply into that thing. Yeah. Squint if you have to.
It's not looking good, Boy Green. It's not looking good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think we got 31-17, the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. That ain't right. That's not right.
But
well,
that's what I've seen. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my eyes. Hold on.
Yeah. You do the Peter Parker meme where he's like, huh? And he puts on the glasses. Like, oh, here it is. I see. Excellent. I'm actually seeing this.
I mean, that's what it's saying. That 31-17. It's a smackdown.
Well, I unfortunately, and I hate to do this, Woody, especially on a game day preview where we're supposed to have all these juices flowing. I agree with you. I look at the crystal ball, and the Jets are going to win this game 31-17, baby. So that's why you got to give it a little extra. And they give it another look. Oh, I see the logos were exchanged. The Jets are going to win this game. The Jets are going to end the Eagles' drought streak, however you want to perceive it. The Jets have Brees friggin' Hall, and the Eagles have not faced a Brees friggin' Hall at this magnitude, and he's only getting better as time goes on. Oh, yeah, and there's some guy named Garrett Wilson who's going against some corners not named Darius Slay. Zach Wilson and the play-action passing game is going to come alive. The Jets' pass rush is going to wake up. We're going to be like, oh, I see. Quinnen Williams, who only has half a sack so far this season, he has a breakout game to come. And you could say, well, the Eagles' offensive line is good. Well, shut up, Junior. The Jets' defensive line is pretty gosh darn good too, pal. And they're showing up to play. They're bringing their lunch pail. We've got some things to be able to go through here. And yes, you're going to hear this clock making music in this office at the top of the hour. So just enjoy that while that's weirdly in the background. But the point is, the Jets are winning this game, Woody. Absolutely winning this game.
Wow. Well, all I got to say is that the Jets need you in the locker room, and they need me banned from the building because, bring all that juju, bring all that energy, let them know everything that you just said because, I see you're Quinnen Williams, and I raise you with Jason Kelsey, who's about to talk about it on his podcast after shutting us down. You want to talk about Garrett going not against Darius Slay? Well, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith going against you and me. Actually, let me not say that because I have a lot of love for Bryce Hall. I'm still hoping that he comes back to who he was in 2021.
We haven't even discussed this yet, but Craig James' revenge game, he came from the Eagles, and now he gets to exact the revenge. That's an angle we have not discussed.
It's not actually. I mean, some people, we don't know. And, because I thought the Chiefs was going to be the SmackDown, so I can't even sit on my high horse, but I'm just saying there are a little too many factors, and I think there's a little too much faith in a boy who has only thrown over 200 yards once.
I will just say this. This is one thing that we can kind of end on here, and it's this. Every quarterback the Jets have faced, and I don't know if the numbers are exactly true, but I feel pretty good about it. Every quarterback the Jets have faced have had their worst game against the Jets. Mahomes, they made into a normal man. From Superman to Clark Kent. Josh Allen, okay? Name your guy. And they have come to the means. And I hear every week.
Not Dak. Dak had his best game against the Jets.
That's fair enough. He kind of nickel and dime the Jets, but put Dak aside, right? So that's, to me, an outlier when you look at the rest of the sample size. But you look at all these guys that have turned into normal people. And each week, the excuse I've heard from the other fan base is, well, my guy just blew it. Well, if their guy just blows it in 4 out of the 5 games in the season, what's the commonality? Oh, yeah, you keep playing the Jets defense. So to me, outside of that Cowboys situation, fortunately, because it was a cool experience, but also not that they lost, but, being at that game and seeing him just nickel and dime and literally take what the defense gives, have this perfect, make sure anything was dropped. Obviously, the Sauce pick 6, not to bring that back up, but all of those situations, Jets could have, should have, would have had something they didn't. But I feel very good going into this game, as good as you can be considering the circumstances, obviously, of our secondary. But you're right. Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh are cooking things up. I don't think, maybe to them a little bit, that the Sauce thing caught them by surprise like it did us. But I think that this Jets defense is the backbone of this team, and they can figure things out, and they will figure things out. And I'm really excited to see. Well, I'm fired up, baby. I can't wait for 425. Bring on the gosh darn Eagles, baby. Okay, bring them on. Let's go.
All right. Well, you asked for it. You asked for it, Boy Green. It is coming 425 today. We are going to see what happens, and that will definitely define how I feel next week when the Jets don't play. But I still have to be alive and do all this, and we will still have a bye-week Woody 3. I promise you that. But how will we be feeling about the second half of the season? I know it's not actually half, right? We only played 6 games, and now we got to play 10 or 11. Sorry, now with the extra game.
The math,
but yeah, it still is the second half, and a lot of things are easier. We play terrible teams, Giants. Yuck. All right, so many terrible teams on that other side, where this one was a gauntlet. So how are we going to feel about that game? Depends on today, 425.
Absolutely. And consider that whether win or loss, you kind of marinate on that for extra time, because we will not have, again, we have a bye next week. But yes, we will continue all the Boy Green dailies every day. That will continue during the bye week. We will have a Woody 3 next week. We'll see kind of what we're talking about or discussing, because obviously maneuvers and depth chart changes and things of that nature could happen during it as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. I will see you guys in a couple of hours for the post-game show, of course. It'll be 2 hours after the final whistle. And make sure you stay tuned here on Heavy on Jets for all that jazz. And Woody, I'll see you next week, pal. Get the bubbly ready, my friend, for beating the Eagles for the first time, baby.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just, those copycats are Eagles, Eagles. Shut the hell up. It's Jets, baby. And we're the better shade of green anyway. So I'm ready to give them the business today. There we go. Take flight, baby. Take flight. Here we go. Thanks, everybody. We will see you after the game. Like I said, 2 hours after the game, we'll be back on. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And go Jets, baby. Believe.